Discover Talk. That's where I want to start at. Man.
Okay, okay.
Obviously, it was your brainchild. How
Mm-hmm.
long was that in the works before you actually started, putting the plan in motion? And what is it?
So Discover Talk, man. Discover Talk. So going back, I've been doing basketball here in Oklahoma since 2010.
I actually thought it was further back than that.
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah.
Okay.
Well. So it was actually 2005 because I started in college.
Right on. Right on.
But in Tulsa, about 2009, 2010. And so what I realized over the years is that Oklahoma doesn't have a platform to where, and not necessarily Oklahoma, but like this particular region doesn't have a platform where we can, where you can come to and get kids, get quality recruits, and get information on those kids. And so me and 1K, which is Josh Stevens, one of my best friends,
Yes,
we got to talking, and what ended up happening was I was like, you know what, man, like I feel like this is an area that we can do and kind of help kids. And so we started, man. We kind of did a trial run, kind of trying to find our niche and how to do it and stuff like that. And it did help. It helped both on the boy side and the girl side. And so we're kind of working some things out, and then we're going to get it back started. But the purpose of Discover Talk, man, is really more than anything to get the information out to the coaches. And also, on top of that, getting kids comfortable with interviews. Because another thing that we learned too is a lot of these kids aren't used to being in front of the camera. So with them not being used to being in front of the camera, it gives them an opportunity to practice. And when we send it out to college coaches, because we do send it out to college coaches, it gives them the information that they need to where they can make a sound decision, okay, based off of what I know on this 25-minute interview, is this kid a kid for me? Because the kid might say a school that particular school watching on the end is like, oh dang, I didn't even know they was interested in me. I didn't even think I could get that kid.
Yeah.
Because here in Oklahoma, both on the boys and girls side, we have a lot of what we call fringe athletes. That's like on the cusp of D2, high D2, low D1. And so you have the D2s that are saying, he or she's a D1 kid, I can't really get them. You know what I mean? The D1s are like, well, I don't know if they're a D1 kid because they don't have no offers at all. And so you have this back and forth. And so let's say a kid gets on our podcast and says, hey, I want to go to Roger State. Roger State like, hey, this is a D1 kid, but the kid gets on the podcast and is like, man, Roger State has been my dream school my whole life. Now next thing you know, Roger State is calling like, hey. So that's the purpose. That's really the purpose of Discover Talk, and then I attach the showcase to it as well, because it's all about showcasing the kids, all about showcasing and spotlighting the really good kids. Because another thing is the perception is that Oklahoma don't have good players, and that's not true.
Wrong.
That's far from the truth. And so attaching Discover Talk as far as interviews and then attaching it to the showcase is a place for us to highlight our good kids.
Man, you said a mouthful right there. I got a couple questions. Okay,
Yeah.
So first off, is it intentional by you to keep those interviews 25 to 30 minutes long? Right?
It is because the goal of it is nobody's going to sit there unless you really into the.
All right, yep, you good.
Okay, so Discover Talk. That's where I want to start at. Man.
Okay.
Obviously, it was your brainchild.
Mm-hmm.
How long was that in the works before you actually started, putting the plan in motion? And what is it?
So Discover Talk, man. Discover Talk. So going back, I've been doing basketball here in Oklahoma since 2010.
I actually thought it was further back than that.
Yeah,
Honestly.
yeah.
Okay.
Well. So it was actually 2005 because I started in college.
Right on.
But in Tulsa, about 2009, 2010. And so what I realized over the years is that Oklahoma doesn't have a platform to where, and not necessarily Oklahoma, but like this particular region doesn't have a platform where we can, where you can come. What ended up happening was I was like, you know what, man, like I feel like this is an area that we can do and kind of help kids. And so we started, man. We kind of did a trial run, kind of trying to find our niche and how to do it and stuff. Come to and get kids, get quality recruits, and get information on those kids. And so me and 1K, which is Josh Stevens, one of my best friends, we got to talking and like that, and it did help. It helped both on the boy side and the girl side, and so we're kind of working some things out, and then we're gonna get it back started. But the purpose of Discover Talk, man, is really more than anything to get the information out to the coaches, and also on top of that, getting kids comfortable with interviews. Because another thing that we learned too is a lot of these kids aren't used to being in front of the camera. So with them not being used to being in front of the camera, it gives them an opportunity to practice. And when we send it out to college coaches, because we do send it out to college coaches, it gives them the information that they need to where they can make a sound decision. Okay, based off of what I know on this 25-minute interview, you know, is this kid a kid for me? You know, because the kid might say a school that particular school watching on the end is like, oh dang, I didn't even know they was interested in me. I didn't even think I could get that kid. You know, because here in Oklahoma, both on the boys and girls side, we have a lot of what we call fringe athletes. That's like on the cusp of D2, high D2. Into watching TV like that nowadays, nobody's gonna sit there and watch a 2-hour interview.
Right on.
You know, people's attention span are only so long. So yeah, so we want to go anywhere from 25 to maybe 40 minutes into watching TV like that nowadays. Nobody's gonna sit there and watch a 2-hour interview.
Right on.
You know, people's attention span are only so long. So yeah, so we want to go anywhere from 25 to maybe 40 minutes, but more we're looking at more of the 25 to 30 minute time frame, because most likely if you're in a car and you're driving somewhere, you know, our ultimate goal is for you and your family to be driving from here to Bartlesville. You and the whole Edison team is watching. Let's say DJ, we interview DJ.
Road.
Yeah. So let's say you interview him. Well, all y'all watching it on y'all way to the Bartlesville game. You know what I'm saying? Like,
there you go. That's not too long.
Yeah, it's not too long. You know what I mean?
Not too short. Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's like, you know, now it builds team chemistry, because now your whole team is like, oh dang, I didn't know that about you, DJ. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, so that's our goal, man. Is to do many interviews to where it's enough information for a coach to make a sound decision. It's enough information for a coach to see if these kids are good character kids, because we're not just gonna interview anybody. Like, if we don't feel like you're a prospect, or feel like, you know, you're somebody that represents good character and things like that, then, you know, most likely you're not gonna be on a podcast.
And it helps to be able to play.
Oh, exactly. Oh, you gotta be able to play.
You gotta keep the main thing.
Yeah. You gotta be able to play. Yeah, we ain't gonna have, you know, one thing that coaches can be confident in is if a kid is on our podcast, then they are a college prospect.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Would you say, by your own estimation, that maybe you've had an athlete or a couple of athletes on your platform that maybe was a little bit of a diamond in the rough? Maybe they hadn't picked up as much traction as you knew their talent warranted.
I think so, man. I think, I mean, to be honest with you, I think that's all our athletes. Yeah, that's the athletes that we really go after, you know, because I do have the ability to help a kid get college. You know, with the first showcase, my goal was to get 5 kids scholarships, and I met that goal. You know, our goal right now for year 2 is to get 10, and right now I think we got like 4 or 5. And so, but we've had several kids say that, hey, I got these 5 schools that was interested in me that weren't interested in me before. I got these, and one kid told us they got 9 different schools that was interested in them that weren't interested in them before. And so, but the thing is, it's different now than even it was last year, because you got the transfer portal. You got all these different things that you have to take into account, to where these schools aren't just being like, man, hey, little Johnny, I like you, here go your offer. You know, the offers that, the work that we put in for the showcase, some of that, we might not see the fruits of that until the springtime. Because, you know, just because at the end of the day, people are slower to recruit high school kids.
That's true. And that's just the landscape. It's
Yeah.
nobody's fault, per se.
Yeah.
You want to blame anybody, blame COVID.
Yeah.
And so y'all showcase took place just a couple months ago, right?
Correct.
Right.
It took place September 21st, man. September 21st, we had 80 of the top kids that we in this particular region. So we had kids from Oklahoma, we had kids from Kansas, we had kids from Missouri, we had kids from Arkansas, we had kids from Texas. You know, and so those particular areas, and our goal, we actually had a couple of kids from New Mexico that were interested, but, you know, we due to lack of space, we couldn't get them in. So I mean, we had kids that we invited from basically just about every area touching.
Yeah, the bordering states.
Yeah, all the bordering states. Yes.
Would you say, based on your expectation, did y'all meet it, exceed it?
Oh no, we definitely met it, man. I mean, we had a total of 19 college coaches show up in person and 22 watch online.
Yeah.
So I mean, we did what we supposed to do. Every kid, we did something that most people don't do. Every kid got to play in front of college coaches at least once.
That's it.
So at the end of the day, man, we did what we said we were gonna do. We got your opportunity to get you in front of college coaches, and it's paid off. You know, I'm constantly getting text messages of both good and bad feedback. You know, feedback of we could have did this better, we could have did that better. Other feedback is like, hey, I appreciate you doing this. You know, my kids never have gotten to play in front of college coaches, and so you know, it's all good, man. It's all good.
When it comes to the talk piece, have you had a situation where maybe you're sitting down like we're sitting down, you're talking to a kid, and maybe him or her, you know, they're a little tense, a little nerved up at first, but the longer y'all's conversation goes, the more relaxed they start to get and they're able to articulate themselves better.
Yes. So what we do is we kind of have we go over kind of what we're going to discuss.
Right on.
And so what I do is whenever I do feel there's a little bit nerves, I try to ask open-ended questions that gets them to talking.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Like so.
Oldest trick in the book.
Yeah. It's just like in class. You got that quiet kid. You don't say, "Are you having a good day today?" They can just say yes or no. You be like, "How was your day today?" See what I'm saying? So it's the same question. You just formulate a little. Yeah.
And then you a couple years older than me, so we've both been grown for a little minute now.
Yeah.
In your experience, how important is it to be able to talk it just like it's important to be able to walk that walk?
I think especially in this day and age, that's what separates kids. And what I mean by that is, and I'm in no way, shape, form, or fashion trying to knock Russell Westbrook because I love Russell Westbrook. But here's the thing. I call it the Russell Westbrook effect, right? Case in point, Russell Westbrook dunk on somebody, he gonna tell you about it.
Right on.
Right?
Yep, no question.
Derrick Rose dunk on somebody, he might not roar, might not do nothing, he might be like, that's just what we do. That's right. So the difference is, not saying that one is better than the other, but as far as from an athletic standpoint, they were both about the same. But Russell Westbrook gets the wow effect because there's animation. He do something, he's not gonna let you know about it, but he gonna let the crowd know about it too. Right. Derrick Rose gonna cross you over, make you fall, pull up, and he's just gonna run back down the court. Right.
Not quite as marketable, I guess.
Exactly. I wouldn't say it's as marketable, but not making you remember what he did.
Got it.
That's a perfect example. Not as marketable, making you remember. So if I cross you over and I knock this shot down, I'm gonna do this. So I'm gonna be like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna tell you about it. Derrick Rose on the other end, Derrick Rose just gonna be like, this is what I do. Like, there's no reason for me to celebrate. Yeah.
Now, and you're a hoop guy. No, I ain't gonna. Let's not get it twisted. Underneath all the business, you still hoop. You know what I mean? You got a background of it. You've been there and done that. So today's young athlete, do you think is just enough, or we got a little bit too much of the extraness after every semi-good play?
I think I'm gonna say this. I think it's no different than it was back in the day. We just have more cameras.
Fair enough. Okay, I like that.
It's no different.
It's a lot of individuality.
You know what I mean? Like it's really no different. It's just now. Back in the day, you had a flip phone with a very good video. But now I got this iPhone. You got an iPhone. All I gotta do is press play.
Yeah.
And whatever you're doing, I got it recorded, and within 15 seconds I can put it on social media.
Right on.
Keep in mind, social media didn't really become a thing until 2004. Before that, you couldn't capture anything. You had to have
You had to be there.
Yeah, you had to either be there or you had to have one of them electronic cameras. And then you go home, and then you plug it in, and you plug it into the computer, and that's taking a couple hours to get it uploaded. Now it's just boop,
instant,
boop. You know what I mean? So the thing is, it's no different back then than it is now. It's just you can capture the whole lot quicker.
I feel that. Okay, so when it comes to all the things, Discover Talk, the trainings, and the showcase, obviously these are what's the word I'm looking for. These are minors we're talking about. So you're having to deal with their parents.
Yes.
How tough or easy is that process, having to go through them to get to the kids, or have you had more experiences where they are pretty receptive to what you were selling to them, or is it tough?
I think, man, for me, so we got the showcase, and people know that I'm a scout. People also know that I've been doing training for a really long time, and people know that I know what I'm doing. And so the sale isn't really hard. You know what I mean? Like when it come down to it, I think the biggest thing that plays to my advantage is that I'm honest and I'm upfront. And I'm not just like that with basketball. I'm just like that in life. And so people associate my character with like, okay, what he's telling you is true. I think that a lot of people, when it comes to training and when it comes to doing showcase, when it comes to basketball stuff, I think a lot of times what ends up happening is people try to sell people this false dream. You know, false dream in reality. And I just tell people up front, listen, if you're gonna come work out with me, if you're gonna come to my showcase, if you're gonna deal with me, I'm gonna tell you the truth. I'm gonna tell you the truth. Yeah. Because I owe it to myself and I owe it to you. Now, if you choose to listen, integrity. And that's what I live by in every area. You know, so
you see a kid, right? And let's say it's Smoot right there, and he cooking. Like,
okay.
I see something right there. You step into him, or you find these people, and then you step to him.
No, we having a family meeting right there.
Straight up, right there on the spot.
No, right there on the spot.
I love it.
Yeah, right there on the spot. Yeah, I'm gonna go tell him, hey, where your parents at? Yeah, I'm like, come on, step into my office. We all need to talk. You know, we all need to talk. And I'll be like, this is what I see in this kid. This is where I feel like he can go. You know, this is how I feel like I can help him. And then at that point, it's on you. But here's the thing. Like, I value myself. I'm not gonna beg you to come.
No.
Either you're gonna come or you're not. It just is what it is.
That's true.
You know, it is what it is. I'm not gonna lie to you and say you're gonna be a Division I basketball player. You know, I'm not. If you're not, I'm gonna say, hey, this is where I feel like he can go. This is where I feel like I can help him. Here's my credentials. Here's who I've trained. You know what I mean? And so you and I even give them, if you want to call people, I'll be like, here, if you think I'm lying, here's who you can call. Here's who you can call.
Get that voucher.
Yeah.
You've been around for a long time.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, see, Miller will go to anybody. You know,
Yeah,
kids from the wild all the way up to the big ones.
Yeah, but and speaking of the why, here's what people don't realize. Hey, that's where I started at. Before I started training all these college guys and, you know, some of these professionals and stuff like that, like I started with 3-year-old basketball. That's where I started at.
How? Because I don't know if I've met anybody that just be like, you know what, that's what I want to do. Did you stumble into that, or you always?
No. I'm gonna tell you what happened. So, Coach Lockett. I started training when I was a freshman in college. There was a kid. I was in health and physical education was my major at the time, and so with it being my major at the time, one of my assignments was to go to a neighboring school and mentor a kid. And so there was one kid that was at the elementary school, and he was a troublesome kid. And so when I would come up there, the teacher would throw him on me, be like, "Hey, you this your hour to deal with.
Do something with it."
Yeah. And so I'd be like, "Okay, what do you want to do?" And so he was like, "I want to play basketball." So we go outside, and we just play basketball, man. And I would show him different things and stuff like that. And so I did that for about a year with him, and then I changed my major to sports management. So because I didn't have that particular major, I couldn't do that with him no more. So that kind of sparked my interest in kind of wanting to coach and stuff like that. And then whenever I came to Tulsa, I was working out at the Y, actually getting ready for the G League trial. Yeah. I got invited to the G League, the G League pre-draft camp. And so I was getting ready for that, and Coach Lockett was like, "Hey man, I need a coach. Won't you coach your team?" And so I literally told Coach Lockett no. I was like, "No, I don't want to coach." Like because
I still got juice. What you
yeah, like you know what I mean. And so he finally talked me into it. So I started out, man, coaching some 3-year-olds. Coaching some 3-year-olds, man. And as I started coaching them, I just kept working with them, and it's funny because actually some of those 3-year-olds are high school kids now.
Dang, but we've been growing that long.
Yes. Some of those 3-year-olds are high school kids now, man. And I remember it was probably about 2012, 2013. I ended up. There was a girl by the name of Leah Smith. She was my employee at the time. Okay. And so I'll be honest with you, and I didn't know what I was doing. To almost to the point to where I wouldn't even dress like this. I had on some slacks. I had on my shoes. I had on my and I was just like in my mind I was just like I'm gonna just teach her concepts, teach her how to react, and teach her real basketball. Like and that's still my philosophy this day. Like I'm not gonna do anything that doesn't translate to the game. And so we worked out for about a year, and she ended up getting an overseas gig. And so when she got overseas gig, she was like, Chivas, you need to, you really need to start being for real with this, And then even going back a little bit, as a matter of fact, your head coach, Creed,
yeah.
that was one of my kids, man. Like, working out with him, and when I was working out with him, he from his junior year, man, he was averaging like. I think he went from like 11 to like 21 a game or something like that. It was like a big jump. You could ask Creed to confirm like what the jump was, but it was.
Are we talking his high school years?
Yes, in his high school years. Yeah, in his high school years when he was at Edison, from his junior to senior year. Like he was balling, man. And so so we between that and then another person I had the chance to work with just briefly was Ryan Humphreys. So Ryan had come back from overseas from Spain, and so he had got injured, and so he came and worked out with me like 3-4 times to get ready for the G League. When he played when the 66ers was here and he was playing with them, so he came and worked out with me like 3 or 4 times. And so man, like it was fun, man. Like even talking to Ryan and like his experiences, and and as I was working him out, I was also learning as well. And so after that, what ended up happening is, man, I look up and I have Hayden Langston, I got Jordan Langston, who else? I have Amani Davis, and like that whole crew. Like I had all of them in the gym at one time, because people just started telling like, hey, Chev is the one you need to work out with.
Yeah.
And so I look up, man, and I'm people just start pulling up, and so we got to working and stuff like that, man, and pretty much, I mean, the rest is history. I was just like, just kept on working, man, and just kind of working my way up, and even what I'm doing today with scouting, and continuing to train anywhere from 3 years old to pros, so. That's kind of how we got here. And then in the middle, I had an AU team and NLU and yeah, a lot of those kids that we started NLU with, a lot of those kids are seniors now doing well.
See, and you just recently, I guess, put that down.
I did. I did. Yeah, so I put it down, man. My oldest son is 2, so when I had him, that's when I put it down, because I was like, man, I've been a father for the past 10 years, all these other kids. Now it's time for me to be a father to my own. So
I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, so when it comes to the training part, did you? I guess you eventually got to a point where you realized, all right, my run at hooping is over. Was that a tough pill to swallow?
Oh, it was. No, it was. It was.
We love this, man.
No. It was. It was for me, man. I back in 2011, I graduated college in 2008. Did the pre-draft. Got invited to that, nothing really sticked, and so I kind of walked away from basketball for about 6 months. Because I think what people don't realize is when basketball is your life, like you don't realize what life is without basketball. So like I literally had to remove myself. That didn't work out, didn't watch basketball, all my friends who were basketball geeks like myself, I didn't talk to them. Like I just had to get away from it.
So it was intentional.
Oh no, it was intentional. It was intentional because if I didn't, like I would never be able to move on. Yeah. And so that was 2009, and so once that happened, then I just kept working out. I kept working out just to stay in shape. So in 2011, I get a call from a semi-pro team called Toast Tornadoes. Here in town. It was a cat from Oklahoma City who, believed in Oklahoma guys and really wanted to give Oklahoma guys opportunity. So he came down here, started up a semi-pro team, and I got the phone call they wanted me to come try out. So I made the team. I played on that for a year, and then, as I'm going through and I'm playing, I realize I'm like, man, I ain't getting no taller. I ain't getting no faster. I ain't jumping no higher. And it seemed like every time I played against somebody, they was all that and then some, And so and so the semi-pro thing happened after I went and tried out did the G League pre-draft camp and ended up connecting with an agent, and there was opportunity for me overseas. But then he calls back and it's like, hey man, I got some good news and some bad news for you. And I was like, okay, well, give me the bad news first. You know, you always want to end with the good news.
Yeah,
you feel me?
Give me my vegetable first.
Yes,
man.
yes,
You know what I'm
yes.
saying?
And he was like, well, no, I'm gonna reverse it this time. I'm gonna give you the good news. I said, okay, cool. I said, so what's the good news? He's like, I got a team that's interested in you. And I'm like, okay, what's the bad news? He's like, well, the only problem is there's a guy that they're also interested in just like you, but he's 6'5". I said, I think they made the right decision.
They made the right decision.
Yeah.
Man, it sounds like you've had a lot of discernment and like a lot of clarity throughout your whole journey. Because like when you made that, I'm still stuck on you deciding to separate yourself from the game all the way.
Yeah.
Was that on your own, or did you have somebody sort of in your ear through that whole process trying to advise you on how to move?
I think it was, one thing I can always say, man, is I've always been blessed to have good people around me.
Right on.
And so I think it was a little bit of both. I can't say I can't take the credit and say it was all me, but like the people I was talking to at the time was just like, hey bro, like, you know, if you're gonna move on, man, you don't wanna look like a dummy and be 35 still trying to make it to the league like some of these dudes.
Yeah.
So, you know, so you gotta figure out what you gonna do next, you know, you know, stuff like that. And I was just like, you know what, you know, I mean, you're right. And so, you know, when that happened, man, I think my outlet was starting up NLU.
Yeah.
You know, because in that 6 month time frame like that, when I separated myself from basketball, I was like, well, man, like I'm a basketball geek. I still love basketball. I still want to be around it. How can I do this? And so, you know, I got blessed and fortunate to have a group of people around me at the Y at the time. And so, you know, how we got started is the Y. Before I got there, the Y was more seen as rec style basketball.
Yeah.
And so I got it to where my gym, the Hutchinson YMCA, became the competitive hub. Mm-hmm. You know, back then there wasn't no Fred then, you know, wasn't none of that. So the Hutchinson YMCA became the competitive YMCAs. They would send all the competitive teams, all the teams that were a step above rec, they would send them to me. And so this was considered like, if you come to Hutchinson, like you was considered doing something.
Oh yeah, now you're hooping.
Yeah. And so then upper management changed, and when upper management changed, what ended up happening is they ended up trying to put some restraints on me and say, oh, I can't coach and I can't do this. I just got to be the director.
You got to oversee.
Yeah, and so then that's when, and so once that happened, at that point, that's when I was like, okay, well, I don't want to lose all these kids, so let's create something for them. So then that's when, you know, I sat down with the parents, said, hey, this is what I want to do, and what that did is that kept them in the Y, but then it also gave them an opportunity to continue to be competitive. So that's kind of how NLU ended up being formed. And so before I decided to, man, just kind of fall back from it, I think we had like 24 teams.
Dang.
Yeah. So we had 24 teams, man.
At this particular juncture, you're a recruiter or a scout.
So I'm a scout.
Man, please break that down, because I remember when you gave the announcement that you were putting one thing down to pick up this new thing.
Yeah.
I still don't necessarily know what all it entails.
So what a scout entails, man. So let me give you the backstory. So around the time whenever I first started the high school side of NLU, our first year, we had all 8 of our kids get a minimum of 3 opportunities to play college basketball. All eight of our kids our first year.
Okay.
And so with that being the case, we were with prep hoops and we were playing in other tournaments and things like that. And whenever I had to call prep hoops and tell them like, hey, you know, we're probably not gonna have teams on your circuit this particular year. You know, then the guy was like, hey, well, I've heard a lot about you. Have you ever thought about scouting? And I was like, what is that? Like, what's that?
Right, tell me more.
Yeah. So he was like, you know, I've looked at your background, you know, I understand your training, understand your playing history, stuff like that. And so he was like, give me 15 minutes, I'm gonna have somebody call you. And so, you know, he called me, the head dude at Prep Hoops at the time called me and was like, hey, you know, we really would like you to be involved with prep hoops, you know, this, that, and the other. And I said, okay, well, the only issue is, man, I'm about to have my first baby. So I can't be traveling all over, you know, and my wife is pregnant. Like, I just can't leave her out there like that.
Anybody with any sense gets
Yeah. And so this was like the beginning of April. So my first son was due May 12th. And so, I mean, he called me literally like every week for a month.
Oh, he was persistent.
Yeah. It was like, hey, you know, how's everything going?
Yeah.
You know, and what I liked about Prep Hoops is the fact that at the end of the day, like, they cared about me first. And so he developed a relationship with me, and although I knew why he was calling, he never talked basketball. He was like, hey, how's your wife? How's the family? You know, do you need anything? And so he did that, man, and finally my son was born May 12th, and then the beginning of June, I was like, okay, man, I mean, I'm going to go ahead and, you know, get started. So I made the announcement, you know, let everybody know, hey, I was pretty much done with AAU. You know, I'm training, and I'm training full-time and scouting, because I think that's what most people don't realize is up until 2 years ago, I was trying to do everything. I wasn't scouting, but I was trying to be AAU director. I was trying to coach AAU teams. Plus, I was trying to make time for training. And so it was just, it was a lot. And I didn't really, because that's all I knew, I didn't really know it was a lot until I stopped. I was like, dang, I really was doing a lot.
Just going.
Yeah.
And how honest were you with yourself, or can you be with yourself about, were you able to give all that you could give in all of those areas, or were you stretched too thin?
No, at the time I could.
You could, okay.
Yeah, at the time, like, I gave my all, and that's one reason why I stopped, because I couldn't give my all no more. Yeah, that's why I stopped. Yeah, if I'm being honest, I realized that, like, hey man, like, I really can't give my all, because now what I would normally give my all to, now I gotta give my all to my wife. I got all to my newborn son. You know, so I mean, if you look at it, that me giving my all to my wife, that's gonna replace me coaching teams.
Yeah.
You know, because that particular, when I had my son, like, I didn't really have time to go to practice, because now my wife is over my son.
That's it.
And I'm not gonna be the dad that oh, you got it. Like, okay, well you changed the diaper last time, I'm gonna change the diaper this time.
Yeah, we got it.
You know, you fed him last time, I'm gonna feed him this time. And so that became, so my priorities shifted.
I feel that.
You know, and I mean, any good dad, and that's what they, you know, to me, that's what they should do. And so after, you know, I pretty much was like, hey, I'm not really gonna do the high school. And then at the end of, we played it out until the end of that summer, and then after that, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and let those other kids go elsewhere as well. You know, so I mean, I did it right. I didn't just walk away or say, like, I'm done with y'all, go find something else. Like, you know, it was an easy transition for me.
I like that, man. You know, classy action.
Man. Yeah.
Okay, so let's talk your hoops journey, man. Since I know you got a 7 o'clock, we got a little over 15 minutes. Let's talk about that. You're originally from Fort Smith, Arkansas,
so
right?
I'm originally from Fort Smith, Arkansas, man. And actually, if I'm being honest, basketball was not my first sport.
That was a great segue, because I for sure had that in my list. Okay, so what did you pick up first?
So I picked up football.
Were you good
football.
at it?
I was.
Nice.
Football, I started playing football in 2nd grade, and I didn't start playing basketball until 5th grade. And I was terrible in all caps.
Really?
In basketball.
Did somebody lean on you to make you go out there and play?
No. I just want to try something different. I was gifted in football, and I mastered football early, and I kind of got bored with it.
Oh, snap.
So in 5th grade, I played. My mom said I could only play one sport a year, but it was crazy. And I'm just not thinking about this, but I played 2 sports that year. So I played basketball and I played baseball. I didn't play football, but I played basketball and baseball. And I was just as terrible at baseball as I was basketball. Like,
dang.
Yeah. It was bad.
Okay, so like usually kids gravitate to the things that they're pretty good at. What made you stick with it if you were so bad in the beginning?
Man, I mean, I like challenges. Right. Yeah, I like challenges. And it's both a gift and a curse, because I go towards things, the hard things. Like, I don't like easy stuff. Like, I don't like anything that is given to me. Like, I like stuff I have to work for. And so football always came natural to me. So I was like, I was like, man, I want to go try something else. Like, this is boring.
Mm.
You know, and so basketball, man, I tried basketball. I was like, okay, like, this is going to be more of a challenge. This is going to be harder. So I want this. And then baseball, you know, now that I know what I know, like baseball, I started too late. With baseball is a sport that you have to do it from the time you're young, and you got to stick with it. You can't do like a basketball or a soccer or football play in 4th grade and not play again until 8th grade, because now it's completely different. You get as it transitions, you got to transition with it.
Man, listen, I tell some of my athletes that to this day. They're like, man, we gonna go out and play football. I'm like, yeah, well, ready, you, Junior. When last time you played? 7th grade. I'm like, well, I'm not gonna tell you don't do it, but I'm gonna tell you the way we do hoop, that's how they do football. You know what I mean? So you think you're just gonna stick your toe in the water and just see how this goes?
Yeah.
Now you get humbled real quick, dog.
Yeah.
Okay, so can you remember when you started to turn into a player on the basketball court?
On the basketball court.
It sounds like you were a little bit of a late bloomer.
I would say probably, to be honest with you, sophomore going into junior year.
Oh, you had to put some time in.
Yeah. No, I put like some real time in. Yeah. Sophomore going into junior year, man. Like I remember even up until I was a freshman, man, I couldn't go left. You know, I had maybe 2 dribbles in me, but I could shoot it.
Yeah.
You know, so I needed a point guard on my side, you know, that could handle the ball, because it's I say it was a basketball gift and a curse for me, because just like now, like I was a smaller 2 guard when I was younger. You know, I always played with, you know, I always played with midgets. I always played with people shorter than me, so I never really got to handle the ball. Like, yeah. So, you know, I always had to develop my jump shot, and then if I'm being honest, like my handles really didn't come until I got to college, because for me, I was always the catch and shoot guy, or I was always the one. I remember in high school there was a play called thumbs, to where I would set the screen, and then I would bump the defender, get the ball top of the key, and my coach always said, you got 3 dribbles to do something. So bam, give it to me, boom, 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 I make a move, stuff like that. But yeah, no, I mean, I played with a bunch of small guards growing up, so I never really got that chance to handle the ball until I got to college, and now I'm the small guard.
Well, I can tell you this: by the time I ran across you, you had that in your bag.
Yeah.
And you never lost the shooting ability either.
Yeah.
Can't just elevate off the ground about this high. You know what I'm saying, with all the muscles, man.
Yeah.
That's good stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so I know you went to Bacone College, right?
Correct.
All 4. I mean, was it junior college at the time?
No. So when I went in 03, they had been a NAIA school for 2 years.
Okay, there you go.
Because they went in 01.
Got it.
Yeah.
Were you there all 4?
I was there all 5.
Start to finish?
I was there all 5. I actually redshirted my first year.
Hey.
Yeah.
Man, I'm glad you said that, because
Yeah.
I was close to redshirting when I was in junior college. I knew nothing about that at that time, so I looked at it as a slight. And I'm glad it didn't come to the point where I would have had the redshirt, because I probably would have made a not so good decision.
Yeah.
Did you know what redshirting was at that time?
I did. Yeah, I did. Like me, like I tell people this all the time, but like I'm the cool nerd. So like I did my research and like why it was good, and like I talked to people and I talked to my AU coach. Shout out Coach Sidney Carter.
Yeah, man.
You know, that's my
he
guy.
In the notes.
Yeah. But yeah, no, he you know, he was the one, man, that was kind of giving me feedback on why I should redshirt versus why I shouldn't redshirt. And man, like even redshirting, I don't regret it now, but Coach Carter can vouch for me, but every day that whole first semester, I was calling him. We were on the phone at least 2 hours. I was like, Coach, I want to come home. Coach, I want to come home. This is so stupid. I want to come home. He was like, Chavis, you're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And he would just sit there and listen, man. I mean, it was tough, because it's like you're doing all this work. I'm doing all this working out, but there's no reward with the game.
Yeah, no payoff.
Yeah.
Were you restricted at all in terms of what you could participate in at that time? Or you were in the mix just like an active player?
No. So I was in the mix just like an active player. I just couldn't dress out. I could still go to the games and like sit in the stands. And I could still practice, and it was good though. It was good. It worked out for me, because I did need to get a little bit stronger. On top of getting a little bit stronger, I also needed to learn a more structured, the way of structure, if that makes sense.
I feel
you know.
So you were hooping more than playing basketball.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So I think I definitely know like it worked out for me.
And I bet you got up out of there with that degree.
Oh yeah. Oh heck
You
yeah.
did 5 years.
Yes sir. Yes sir. Yes sir.
And
Yeah.
so in Oklahoma, you just never left? Is that how that happened?
No, I mean that's pretty much how it happened, man. That's pretty much how it happened. So backstory on me being raised in Arkansas. My mother went to the school at OU, and I suffer from asthma and seizures. And so my mom was trying to go to school at OU and take care of me, and so my grandparents agreed that they would take care of me in Arkansas until she get done. And so the original plan was for me to move to Tulsa with her, so I would have been here when I was like 5, 6 years old. But I pretty much told her this is home, and I don't want to go. And so she just let me stay up there. And so although I'm not from Tulsa, I kind of am from Tulsa because I've been coming back and forth to Tulsa since I was 7, 8 years old.
Man,
and so when people like how you know everybody, like because although I'm not from here, I'm still kind of from here.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's kind of how it happened. And then even my last 2 years of AAU basketball, I played here in Oklahoma instead of in Arkansas.
There you go, rooted.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying? My boy got dual residency.
Oh yeah, yeah, man, yeah.
I love that. Well, since we only got a handful of minutes left, man, let's talk about how you balance all of this, man. You got a full plate, even though you scaled some of it back, but you didn't necessarily empty the plate. You just added something different. You know what I mean? It's like a substitution.
Yeah.
So you got your husband, right? You got 2 sons now, right? 2 young ones too, by the way.
Yeah,
And
2-year-old and 1-year-old.
Then you got everything that we've talked about for about the last 30 to 35 minutes. How do you balance that? And also, how do you decompress? How do you come down at the end of a normal day?
So how do I balance all that? First of all, I have to realize what's important, and so realizing what's important allows me to be able to know, like, hey, I can't do this, I can't do that. And AD, to be honest with you, I had to learn that no was a complete sentence.
Right on. Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
No with the period
yeah,
on the end?
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
No
so,
explanation.
so me realizing that is I have to I'm big on time value and value on my time.
Yes,
And so whenever it comes to getting involved with something, man, I just have to, like, I have a schedule, I have to write down on my schedule, write it on my calendar. And so that's kind of how I stay, that's kind of how I stick with my schedule, And so, like, even with me and the wife, what we do is we sit down once a month, and I'll be like, hey, so this is where I have to go for scouting this time, this is where I have to go for scouting this time, this is what we're gonna do with the boys. We just had them conversations, man. I think the reason why it works is because me and my wife communicate often. Like we're both open and transparent as far as like what's going on and what we're doing.
Sounds like you got yourself a good partner, man.
Oh yeah. I'm blessed, bro. I'm definitely blessed.
You definitely said something, man. I've tried for the last 3 years to stay diligent with having my little agenda book, my little planner. Man, I may rock for like a couple weeks to a month, and then next thing you know, I don't even know where that sucker is. You able to stay diligent with it?
No,
man?
so I can't do the agenda on a piece of paper.
Oh, you can't do it.
No, I do it on my phone. Because keep in mind, you always gonna have your phone. So ever since I've been doing it in my phone, like I'm like you. When I had the little agenda, I'm like, man, where
I felt official when I had it.
Yeah, like where that agenda at? I was like, I can't do that no more, man. I just put everything in my phone. I put it in my phone. If I tell you we gonna do something and we're face to face and I don't put it in my phone, it's probably not gonna happen.
We can act like we didn't even have
Yeah.
Okay, man, talk about your 2 sons, the similarities between them and the differences. And where I'm coming from with that question is, I think every kid is a hybrid of both their parents. They got some of daddy's stuff, they got some of mama's stuff.
Okay.
But the tricky part is, you can speak to it better than me because I ain't a parent.
Yeah.
Like, have you ever found yourself just looking at your kid like, oh yeah, that's me right there? Or like,
Oh yeah,
that's your mama right there.
no, my oldest son, he outspoken. Like
Straight up.
Like and that's me. That's all me. He outspoken as heck. He funny. He don't meet a stranger. He just like me. And my wife is more of kind of a little bit quieter. She'll talk, but she's kind of a little bit more quieter, reserved, especially when and my younger son. He's kind of more like her. Yeah, he's kind of more like her. But it's crazy because even my wife, although she's reserved and not as outspoken, like when she have to speak up, she'll speak up.
Every time I see her, she got a big smile on her.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like both of my boys got that. Kind of take that after her. Like both of them, they constantly smiling, constantly happy. Full of joy. stuff like that. Yeah. So and I think another thing is like my older son, that's my wife's twin, and the younger son, that's my twin.
Man, I'm starting to think there's something to that. I'm starting to think firstborn boys be looking like their moms.
Yeah.
I'm the oldest of two, and as a kid, I was always told, "Well, you look just like your dad." And to the point where I saw it. And But now the older that I get, people are like, "Ooh, you look just like your mom." I'm like, you think so?
Yeah.
All right, I'm leaning in.
Yeah.
And they was running around with you at the fall league, at
Oh,
the
yeah.
1K league.
Oh, yeah,
I
yeah.
love to see that.
Oh yeah, bro. No, I mean my thing is I'm gonna have my boys around it early. You know what I mean? Like, but I think it's gonna be different because I'm not gonna force them to play.
True.
You have a daddy who's a scout and a player development coach. So when you're ready to play, like I know how to get you there.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So why am I rushing? The biggest thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna continue to make sure it's fun, so you stick with it. You know, and I'm gonna separate daddy, coach, trainer. All right, right now I'm your daddy. Right now I'm your trainer. Right now I'm your coach.
Yeah.
You know.
Levels to it.
Yeah.
I can tell you done spent some time
Oh
with this.
no. But now let me not take all the credit because I've had mentors that have coached me on what to do. And I got that particular advice from Lee Mayberry. He got 5 girls.
Right.
So I used to ask him, like Lee, how do you do that? And he was like, Chivas, what we do is, man, we pretty much, he said, now I had to mature to this, so I wasn't always this, but he said, we pretty much, what we do is, if we need to talk about basketball, we need to talk about something, we'll stay in the gym, and then once we leave the gym, then we're not talking about it no more. But he was like, I wasn't always like that, just so you know. Yeah. I said, okay. I said, I'm gonna take that, put that in the pocket.
As simple as that is, that's
Yeah.
gold.
Yeah.
That's gold.
Yeah.
All right, I'll get you out of here on this one, man. In your playing days, from the high school level, AAU level, or college level, what team did you play against that beat y'all and didn't have no business beating y'all? And if you could go back in time to run it back, you would go back to that one today.
Man, beat us and didn't have no business beating us. That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one.
If they get too sticky, think about you as a coach too. We'll throw that in there too.
Oh man, I got one. And Rod, I'm Rod Hall. I'm not talking bad about your coaching or your team, but there was a team named Cypher Elite when my kids were in. I think we were in like 4th or 5th grade. And man, they whooped us so bad.
It wasn't even close.
Bro, but the thing is, we got our get back.
Yeah, there you go.
And then once we started beating them, then they didn't beat us no more.
All right.
The second one, we were playing against. There was a team. They were supposedly top 25 in the country, Texas Westland.
Yes, sir.
You know, and so we went to Texas Westland. Man, they dumped us by 27. And I think I ended up having when we went to Texas, I think I ended up having like 27, 28 points. And so they were talking stuff on the way out. I said, wait till y'all come to the crib.
Yeah.
I said, I'm gonna hit 30 and we gonna beat y'all. I had 31 and we beat them by 11.
So it sounds like also that's one of the best endings ever.
Oh yeah.
So every one of them games that you want to go back to, you were able to avenge.
Because I'm competitive, bro. Like I don't like losing.
For sure.
Yeah. I don't like losing, and me being competitive like I am, like it drives me. So if I'm gonna lose, I'm gonna only lose temporarily because eventually I'm gonna win.
Brother, one of the best out there doing it, man. I appreciate you doing
Yes,
this,
sir.
man.
Yes, sir.
Got
Appreciate
it
you,
done.
man. Appreciate
Got
you.
it done.